Good morning, y'all. I'm getting ready to leave Salisbury, Connecticut. I've actually had to spend a double zero here with the ankle pain and the foot pain that has been associated with the ankle as far as what I can figure out. It seems to have done a lot of good, but then again, I haven't been back out there trying to climb up mountains and walk on rocky trail in the last 2 days, so I'm definitely walking around better, though. It's less pain, so I think I'm good to go. We're going to find out today. I tell you what, there's going to be a lot of milestones crossing a new state, a lot of summits, and a lot of tough summits from what I understand, like real rocky and steep. So, going to find out, going to conquer the day, and there's a lot of weather going on the last few days and in the future here for the next many days. Just a lot of rain and storms. Being on those rocks, we'll see how it goes, but crossing into a new state. So excited to get this day going, and hopefully the foot is much better today and holding up. If not, got to figure out what's next. All right, let's get her going. Walking out of town, out of Salisbury right now, back to trail. As you can see from that sign, very close to Massachusetts. Great Barrington is 20 miles on this road. About 22 miles on the trail. I could just walk this road. But then I wouldn't get to summit any mountain, so that would be pointless for me. So I think you know what I'm going to do. But for the last couple days, I've just been in a lot of pain, and I thought I was going to just, come into town, resupply, get into bed, try to relax, and be good the next morning. Well, that didn't happen. And then I thought, okay, maybe I just need one full day, a 0. And it actually hurt worse the next morning when I got up, which was yesterday morning. So I decided, I got to quit walking to the store and to eat, and I got to keep everything minimal. So I laid down most of the day, keeping the foot elevated, rubbing CBD oil on it. I don't think that really is helping at all, but I don't know, maybe it is. And then about 4 o'clock or so, I was on the phone with Lane, my fiance, and I noticed, because I always pace when I'm on the phone, and I noticed that it wasn't hurting. It was doing really good. So I got really excited. Yes, I get to go back to trail tomorrow, because zeros are tough. Double zeros really tough, especially when you're kind of laid up and you're not really moving around or doing anything. So yeah, this morning, it's bothering me a little bit. I still have a little bit of a limp, but I think that's more of tightness than anything. The pain isn't that bad, but I think also it's almost a confidence thing in me where I'm a little worried, that I'm going to tweak it. So I might be trying to nurse it and nurture it a little too much. So I got to keep my eye on doing that, because that just tweaks other parts of the body. But once it gets loosened up, I think it's going to be really good. It's going to be a big day today. That's for sure. It's supposed to be 4 summits, and what I'm hoping that I get done today. A lot of weird storms and stuff in the area today. I think it's going to be pretty good till about 2 o'clock right now before there's a chance again, but it rained a lot yesterday, and so things are wet, and the next 4 summits are all real rocky summits, and they're supposed to be pretty tough and steep. So see what happens. That's obviously something that's going to really slow me down with the ankle and foot injury and soreness and everything, but I'm hoping it's on the mend and getting better. So that, because that what that does is kind of takes your confidence away, because that it's tweaked. So you kind of overdo it on safety and caution. So I think I'll get to the other side of the road here. There's a car coming. I can't see him when I'm on that side of the road. But anyway, it's going to be a great day. I'm feeling good and energetic and excited because I'm going to cross to a new state today. Oh, and by the way, when I went into Salisbury, I don't know if you remember this from the last video, but I was running out of juice on my phone. So I ended up having my battery run out on me. And on that day, I hit a milestone. I hit the 1,500 mile mark. So I am down to less than 700 miles now. And unfortunately, I did not get picture or video of the sign. It was up in a tree instead of down where it normally would be. But felt really good to hit that marker. And okay, now we got cars coming from both sides. Just get over here a little bit. But it's going to be a great day. Some great milestones, crossing into a new state. And 1,500 miles is in the bag. Oh, and I forgot to mention the very first part of this video, so you understand what that was all about. I was able to do some weed eating while I was here in town to help offset one of the days of having to stay here and the cost, to stay in the hostel for that one day. So that helped out a lot, but then I ended up staying the second day and ended up having to pay for that one. But at least I got one of those days paid for. It definitely helped out when you have to take a 00. Man, I hate even saying 00. Can't stand that. That's so many miles that I didn't get right there. But you have to do what you have to do sometimes for the body. And I definitely had to do it for the body. But hopefully it's all healed up now. We're good to go. But yeah, Fortune was weed eating. Weed eating. Doing some stuff in the yard. Reminds me of how much I actually miss doing that stuff right now. But I'll get to that soon because I only have 690 something miles to go, and then I'm going to get to go home and marry my woman and do some stuff in the yard. Woo! Just ran into another hiker named Jamie at the parking lot of the trailhead where the trail goes here outside of Salisbury. And I talked to him for a few minutes. So he's watched some of the videos, I guess. So he knew who I was by looking. So if you're watching, Jamie, how you doing? Nice to meet you. Nice conversation. Enjoy talking with you. But anyway, I spoke with him about the next 4 summits coming up, because when you read the comments on Far Out, they sound pretty intimidating. I mean, I'm not worried about it. I mean, I've been up some pretty hairy summits, you know, so that doesn't bother me. That's even better for conquering. But since it's rainy and right now the sun's out, but it's still wet from all the rain, and of course with the ankle messed up like it is, I guess I just wanted a little reassurance of what I'm expecting. And he explained it like, you know, they're pretty tough. They sound like they're going to be pretty tough mountains, especially one of them, basically just like a New Hampshire mountain, except not as high. So they'll give me a good taste of what I'll be dealing with in New Hampshire, which I already have a pretty good idea, because I'm really used to exposed mountains and from the PCT last year. So that's really the first time you start dealing with it above tree line here on the AT. So it'd be nice to see that. I think that's Mount Everett. The very next one that I'm going to be dealing with is supposed to have absolutely epic views, and even more so than Bear Mountain, which will be the second one I summit today. But they're both, you know, rocky and steep, so they could be wet. And, you know, you're basically on Bear Mountain, you're basically just going down a big slab of rock for a short distance, not a long distance. So we'll see what it all has to bring. But in this case, it's kind of nice to know what I'm expecting, so I can mentally prepare for it. Because, you know, it takes a little bit of the confidence away when your foot doesn't have the mobility and the pain is there. So, you know, get my mind right and ready to conquer those. And right now, I think the first one is Mount Race. I'll have to look that up just to make sure, but I'm basically getting ready to climb that right now. In fact, I might be climbing that right now. I'm pretty much going up here, so gaining some pretty quick elevation. So that might be what I'm doing right now, but there's supposed to be some really epic views up there, so I can't wait. Another northbounder trying to find his way on a descent. Not gonna lie, it's quite oppressive out here so far today. In the forest, haven't come out into anything that's open yet. Climbing the first summit, which is Lion's Head, not Mount Race. That's later on, I guess. I wasn't sure. The names sound familiar, but didn't remember what order they came in. Lion's Head is first, though. Climbing that, almost to the summit now. But, oh my goodness. It's like 95% humidity, mid-80s, maybe 90 by now. Just hot and muggy, and absolutely zero wind. Wow. I'm just drenched in sweat. It's not raining, but it might as well be, as much as I'm sweating. I'm joking, Lord. I'm joking, Mother Nature. Do not rain on me, please. These rocks are going to be tough if you rain on me. Whew, but it is oppressive. It definitely makes it a lot tougher climbing. Now I see why there's no mountains in Florida. Who would want to do that? Oh my goodness. kidding aside, it is hot. It is oppressive, but I love the climb. I love the sweat. I love getting the toxins out. And I love conquering. Almost to the top of Lion's Head. Standing on the summit of Lion's Head Mountain. One part of it is covered in trees, but then the other part, as you can see, is extremely epic. Some wet spots on the rocks coming up. I think I walk across some cliffs now along the top of it here, so there'll probably be some greater views. But wow, that is amazing right there. And Lion's Head Mountain is in the bag. So the ledge coming down from Lion's Head has some pretty good views of what's to come. Right there is Bear Mountain, which is the next summit. And then up here, I think, might be Race in the distance. Maybe Everett. And then way over here, which you can't see around this tree right now. It's hard to see, but it's way up there. It's like 70 or 80 miles, but that is... And it just totally left my mind. But that's the summit in Massachusetts, which is the highest in Massachusetts. Wow, I can't believe that just slipped my mind. But you could see it way in the distance. Obviously, we're going to be there in a few days. But that right there, which kind of just disappeared, but right there you can see it over top the tree, is Bear Mountain, which is the next summit. And descending this one right now, getting ready to climb that one. Mount Greylock. Oh my goodness, I can't believe that slipped my mind like that, but... You can barely see it because it's hazy, but it's definitely, you could see just a little bit of it way in the distance. Unfortunately, there's like two of them right there. I can't tell which ones it is, but I know that one of those is Greylock. Just because it's much higher than the other ones before it. So we're definitely getting into Massachusetts here in a few miles, and everything starts going up as far as elevation. So we're going to be back into 2s and 3s here real soon, which... I haven't seen since Shenandoah in Virginia, so that's going to be fun getting back to some higher altitude again. Getting close to the summit of Bear Mountain, within a mile at least. A good portion of the elevation has already been done. I think there's about 500 feet to go. Bear Mountain is the last summit of Connecticut, and it's actually shared with Massachusetts, but the peak itself, the summit itself, is in Connecticut. And getting close to that summit, as you can see, I am just surrounded for miles here of the mountain laurel and the blooms. It is absolutely gorgeous. It's almost like I'm walking through a garden with rocks, a garden that goes up and down. But it is beautiful for sure. I'm loving this. Not quite as oppressive in this area, I think, because I was more on the north side of Lion's Head. It started to cool down a little bit. No real breeze, just felt a little cooler for some reason. Still no breeze, like I said, still very warm, very muggy, but more tolerable now for some reason. But getting ready to summit here, Bear Mountain soon. Just enjoying these beautiful views on the trail as it's gradually going up. Now, from what I understand, the descent of Bear Mountain is not the same. It's actually pretty tough and a lot of rock and slabs of rock. So we'll see what that is. But for right now, totally enjoying this trail and these beautiful mountain laurel blooms happening. These views are about 3/10 of a mile from the summit on Bear Mountain. I understand that on top of the summit, the views are not as good. It's more socked in. So I wanted to show you these views here real quick before summiting Bear Mountain and crossing over into Massachusetts.
Goffstown. That's on the other side. Oh, I see.
Too many people up at the summit of Bear Mountain. Just like the Bear Mountain that was in New York. Not as many people, obviously. You can't drive up to the summit here. But there were people up there. There's just like a little tiny opening that you've seen in the clip. And I believe those other two mountains are Race and Everett, the next two that I'll be summiting. But too many people up there on top of this little cairn, or this big cairn that they have built on top of the summit. You got to see that live on video. Aren't you privileged? I didn't even slip. I just tripped over my own leg and just kind of sat down on a rock. But anyway, Bear Mountain is in the bag. Coming down this is just one big slippery mess. Sometimes I'm able to step and hold on to trees or something, rocks, but then other times I just get my butt and slide. It is so wet, it is hard to get a good foothold on anything. So you do what you do to be safe going down. As you can see, it's pretty steep too. That was intense. Very steep. All rocks and rock faces. Not too many places for footholds. Slid down a lot of it on my butt because I couldn't get a grip with the foot. So a lot of crap, crawling, I like to call it, going down. But I think I'm down most of it now, so now it flattens out before it starts climbing up to the next one. Still a little descent here as I just turned the corner, but this is a little better. Now it's roots. I'll take roots. But now we're back to some rock. Not too bad though. But coming up to the border here real soon. And Connecticut is in the bag. Haven't seen this for a while. Water runs right up to the trail. I don't know if it's a little high because of all the rain, but right here's the trail. Right there's the water. It's definitely wet everywhere. Definitely had a lot of rain over yesterday and today so far. Hoping it won't rain on me anymore today until I get to camp. I don't want it to rain then, to be honest, because I'll be in my tent. But if it's going to rain, I'd rather be in my shelter or my tent or a shelter or something versus on rocks of a mountain. We will see what happens. Everything is so slippery. Jeez. The roots, the rocks, the mud. But it sure is beautiful. Water. I love the fact that Massachusetts has water. Woohoo! Here's a really gorgeous view off this ledge. The sun is shining. It's cleared up quite a bit. Looking way down in that valley. Absolutely gorgeous. Love being up high again. Climbing up Mount Race right now. I don't know if you could see these views over to my right, but here in a little bit, it opens up, and for about a half a mile, I guess it's basically on the edge of the cliffs you're walking, so very exposed, but it's supposed to be some of the best views on the AT to date. So looking forward to seeing what it is. Slippery rock today, so I don't know. It might be very slow going, but basically it goes like that up to the summit. So we'll see what it is. I do know that looking through the trees, some pretty epic views right now, so gonna get to see that without any obstructions. Just hope the terrain isn't too bad or slippery or anything. I would think since it's exposed and since it's hot and since the sun's out right now, that a lot of it would be dry. Whew, I'm getting out of breath today. It's the heat and humidity, man. I don't even really have to be going uphill. Just getting really worn out today. All right, continuing on. Beautiful, beautiful views. Living on the edge. Walking on the edge. Guess this is where you have to be to get the epic views, right? Definitely some of the better views of the AT so far, for sure. Definitely want to watch your step around here, though. Whew, at least this is a dry section here. So this is absolutely beautiful views, as you can see. But sometimes it gets right on the very edge. No bushes, no nothing. Just straight down drop off. Very similar to areas of the PCT. First time I've really, there was one time in Virginia where they had the sloped rock face. I didn't like that at all, and that was dry. My feet were going crooked the whole time, and you fall, you're just going to slide all the way down. This is a little different. You're climbing up and down these boulders, getting to the summit with the drop off. Sometimes it's right on the edge. Sometimes you have the bushes and you have plenty of space. Obviously, this is a little less anxiety right here, but you cannot beat the views. You definitely can't beat the views. Whew. Gorgeous. For sure. Here I am on the summit of Mount Race. I believe this mountain over here is Mount Everett, which is the next one I will be summiting. Most likely in the morning. Probably will camp in between these two mountains tonight. You could definitely see some views here. Nothing like you could when I was walking on the edge of the ledges and on the cliffs. That was a tough one. But again, it's tough because of the heat today. It's just wearing me down. But it doesn't matter because the first summit of Massachusetts, Mount Race, is in the bag. Number 4. Found a campsite in between Mount Race and Mount Everett to set up for the night. I haven't blown up my air mattress yet. Letting it air out though, in case it's damp or anything. They have a couple platforms. Up here is a group campsite for those that might have their whole family or something with them, or a family. Nice brook down below. Little switchbacks to get down there. I already filled up in water. Gonna eat some food and then lay down. I don't know if I'm gonna go to sleep right away, but I'm whooped. I would say this is one of the hardest days I've had. It's hard to compare to the Roan Highlands. It's 29 miles in winter, and I was whipped by the end and dehydrated and everything. Ooh, excuse me. I don't know why I'm yawning. But this one was tough, man. That heat, that humidity, the no wind, just oppressive weight on me. The slippery rocks, you have to use my upper body a lot to get down. I really wanted to do the Mount Everett today too, get 4 summits in. It was right about 15 miles a day. It's actually a short day for me, but sometimes it's not about the miles. Sometimes it's about the work you're putting into those miles. And today was definitely a day of work and wearing me out with the heat. So I can admit it. I got my butt kicked today, but I still conquered. Still got 3 summits. Still crossed the state line. Had a good day, in spite of the fact I got my butt kicked. So I'll give me some good rest, and hopefully it won't storm tonight. I got myself underneath quite a few trees for cover, so hopefully that keeps me a little more dry than I would be if it rains on me. And I'm hoping it doesn't rain. That way the rocks on Mount Everett have a chance to dry out a little bit more before I tackle it in the morning. But I'm going to eat some food, and I'm going to go to bed. Everybody have a good night. Live life.